Hello class, today we're going to be going over lesson 2.7, and what we're going to be working with today is how to write the equation of a line when that line goes through the origin. Okay, so let's start off with some definitions here. The first one is a proportional equation. So a proportional equation is of the form y is equal to kx, where k is the constant of proportionality. All right, so remember what I told you guys about slope and constant proportionality. Remember, I told you guys if the line is proportional, meaning it is a straight line through the origin, then slope is the same as constant of proportionality. They're exactly the same. So when we're working with the equation of a line with the y-intercept at the origin, the equation of the line would be y is equal to mx. Y is equal to mx. Now let's compare that to our other equation, y is equal to kx. Remember what I told you guys, the slope is the same as the constant proportionality, right? Meaning m is equal to k. So this totally makes sense. We just simply replaced our k with an m. The k became an m because m stands for slope, k stands for constant proportionality. So your proportional equation is the exact same as your equation of a line with the y-intercept at the origin. Alrighty, so let's look at some visuals here. If we look at this picture on the left right here, notice how it is indeed a straight line through the origin, We go through the point 0, 0, and my line has no crookedness going on here, so it is indeed a straight line through the origin. Whereas on this picture here, notice how we are not going through the point 0, 0, which means this graph is not proportional. So as of now, you guys do not know how to make the equation of that line. We'll learn it, but we don't know it today. All right, so let's start with this line right here. So it's going straight through the origin, meaning it is proportional, meaning I can find my slope using the equation m is equal to y divided by x. So let's look at this point B right here. We have to go right 3 and up 3. So it's at the coordinate 3, 3. So to plug this into my equation here, my y is 3, my x is 3, so I get 3 divided by 3, which is equal to 1. Now let's recall on the last slide, what is our equation for a line that goes through the origin? Hopefully you guys are thinking the equation for your line is y is equal to mx. So remember, what do we call a variable, guys? Well, a variable is just a placeholder for a number we do not know yet. But notice, I do know what m is equal to. We now know m is equal to 1, which means I can replace that m with a 1 here. So to rewrite this equation, I could rewrite it as y is equal to m is 1, so 1 times x, or y is equal to 1x. Now, we don't need to multiply 1 by anything here, so I could just rewrite this as y is equal to x. 1 times any number is just going to give you back that same number. All right, so that's how we write the equation of a line with the line going through the origin. Hopefully this sounds a little bit familiar because we did do it last year in 7th grade. We worked with writing the equations of a line. Now, there's a graph on the right over here. We currently cannot write an equation for it. However, I will teach you guys to write an equation for it later on. All right, let's keep going here. We want to find the constant proportionality of the graph and then find the equation of a line. Okay, so let's look here. Is this graph proportional? Well, it's a straight line and it's going through the origin, so yes, indeed, this graph is proportional. All right, so that means we need to find my constant of proportionality, which is k, or this is the same thing as slope, so my k is equal to my m. And since this is a straight line through the origin, we can find our slope by doing y divided by x. Alrighty, so let's use the coordinate right here. I have to go right 2 and up 1, so we can use the coordinate 2, 1. Remember, our coordinates are written as x, y, which means in this problem, my y is 1 and my x is 2. So I get slope is equal to constant proportionality is equal to 1/2. Now remember our equation here. Our equation is y is equal to mx. Well, we've already discovered that here my m is equal to 1/2, so I can replace my m here with 1/2. And then I simply need to rewrite everything around it. I still have my y equals, and it's still times x here. So y is equal to 1/2 x, and that is the equation of the line. So basically what we're learning today, guys, is very straightforward with what we have been doing. We're finding the slope of a line, and then we're plugging that into our equation, y is equal to mx. All right, let's go on to another one here. We want to find the slope of the line and then give the equation of the line. So let's remember our slope formula here. We have to find out, is this a straight line through the origin? It does indeed look like it. It goes through the point 0, 0 here, which means I can find my slope, or my m, by doing y divided by x. So let's use this coordinate here. I have to go -1 up 3, so the coordinate is -1, 3. Which means to write this as our equation here, I need to plug in my y for y. My y here is 3, and my x is -1. So I get 3 divided by -1, which is simply equal to -3. Now let's plug this into our equation. Y is equal to mx. So we just figured out that my m is equal to -3. So I'm going to go back to my equation here, and I'm going to replace my m with -3. And then I simply need to rewrite everything around it. I still have y equals 2, and I still have x. Now notice, why is my slope here negative? Let's pause for a second and think about that. All right, so our slope is negative because the line is pointing down. Notice how this is going straight down right here, right? Yoink, it's going down, meaning it is decreasing. Whenever you have a line that is decreasing or pointing down, the slope is negative. Alrighty, let's graph the line using the equation y is equal to 2x. All right, so the best way to do this here is to make yourself a little bit of a table. And we're going to plug in x values, and our equation is going to crank out y values. Okay, so what I mean by plugging in x values is we're going to replace the number x with a number. We're going to replace the variable x with a number, and we're going to see what y is equal to when x is equal to that number. For example here, let's do 0. Well, when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 2 times 0, which equals 0. So when x equals 0, y equals 0. So I can go to the coordinate 0, 0 and make a dot. My next coordinate here, how about when x is equal to 1? When x is equal to 1, we go back to our equation up here, right? This is 2 times x, so I need to do 2 times 1, and 2 times 1 is 2. So when x is equal to 1, y is equal to 2. So we'll go to the coordinate 1, 2. Let's do another one here. How about -1? So when x is equal to -1, y is equal to 2 times -1, 2 times -1, which would be equal to -2. So when y equals -1, x equals -2. So I'll go to our coordinate right here. Now you guys might be asking yourselves, how many points do I need to graph a line? Well, the more the better, but you need a minimum of 2. So realistically, we could have graphed this line after those first 2 coordinates, but let's just get one more here. How about when x is equal to, let's say, 3? Or no, that won't work. How about we'll just do one in the middle here. How about when x is equal to -2? When x is equal to -2, then y is equal to 2 times -2, and 2 times -2 is -4. So when x equals -2, y equals -4. Now to graph this line here, you simply have to connect all your dots. Remember, you basically just have to connect 2 of them. The rest should be in the line here. And we would get kind of this line right here. Now, since this is a line, that means it's going on forever, which means let's put some arrows on the ends here to show that this line goes on forever. And this would be the this would be the graph of the line using the equation y is equal to 2x. Alrighty, everybody. So what I need from you now is to write a 2-sentence conclusion about what you learned today. 2-sentence conclusion. If you guys have any questions, please ask me them in class tomorrow. I will see you guys all then. Peace out, everybody. Oops, I need to end the screen recording. Ha! Did I?